Hi everyone, so I'm Edouard. I'm a data scientist at N26. I've been working there for about a year now. So first question, who among you knows N26? All right, so I don't really need to introduce the company, that's good. Today I'm going to talk about transaction enrichment and geolocation. So basically at N26 we're trying to make the banking experience a bit smoother for the users. So instead of having just a very boring transaction history, we're trying to improve it and enrich it. And for now, this is what we currently have. So to the right, we see the current transaction page that we have. So we have a weird merchant name, so Edeka body, we don't really know which one it is. And that's pretty much all the information we have. We have a categorization, we just know it's food and groceries, but that's pretty much it. And so I'm going to introduce three concepts now. So first, the payment terminal, that I'm going to refer to as terminal in the presentation. Then the merchant. A merchant is kind of a store, basically. So you have different Edekas all over Germany. And then the concept of brand. So all stores belong to the same brand. So right now, when you swipe your card and you go at Edeka, we know at what terminal you spend your money at. Basically, we also have a merchant name associated with a terminal. And we have a name, city, country, and MCC, so which is just a code, basically. And this is all pretty boring. And this is the way all banks do it, and we want to change that. Basically, in the future, we like to show transactions that are more like this. I don't know if people can see really with the contrast on the screen, but we'd like to come up with the concept of brand to really give customers more insights, where they spend their money, how they spend their money, basically if they go over budget, under budget, and things like that. And instead of having just a weird merchant name displayed on your app, have a real understanding of where you spend your money. And yeah, that's it. So this is why I'm talking about transaction enrichment and geolocation. And for this, we're currently doing a beta with all the N26 employees. And the beta works like this. So basically, we get data from MasterCard. So I guess everybody knows MasterCard. It's our payment system partner. We pre-process a lot of data that we have that we collect at N26. I'm going to detail this pre-processing step in a few minutes. Then we also use Google data. So we've tried a few data suppliers, and it turns out that Google is the most reliable one, even though it's not perfect, definitely not. And then in the end, we get a transaction that's enriched, as you can see on the right, which I'm going to show right now. So this is actually my phone. So 2 days ago, I went to Rewe, and I live in Neukölln, so it was the Rewe in Neukölln. And what's nice about the transaction is Google sends us the clean name, so it's a hashtag Rewe, if you can read from here. And we also have a static map of where the transaction happened. So it gives a lot more context to the transaction. People really know where they spend their money. And that's about 10 times better than any other banking app I've used in the past. So how does this pre-processing step work? So let's say we look at one terminal. And for this terminal, we look at the users who have transactions there. And within a 1 hour window, we see if we collect any geolocation events for those users. So basically, if you open your N26 app and look for an ATM, we have something we call a cache map, and that's one of the events where we collect your location. And so for this terminal, this is all mock-up data. But for this terminal, imagine we have all those different blue circles which correspond to the locations of different users. We aggregate those locations, meaning we first take a median and keep the closest points to that median to get rid of the outliers. So if someone, I don't know, takes a trend from Hautbahnhof, we don't want to take that into the average. We get rid of the 50% furthest away points, and then we average the 50% closest point to the median. And this gives us an approximate location of the terminal. And once we have this approximate location, also along with the merchant name, we send that to Google, which returns us something like this. So we have a merchant name and a static map. But this is just not good enough, because basically Google also doesn't understand this concept of brand, basically. And this is very important for us if we want to do in the future loyalty programs or things like that directly through the app. As soon as you pay, we know you paid at Starbucks or at Rewe or whatever. And then we're going to integrate basically all your loyalty programs in the app. And for this, I mean, I'm not nearly an expert as much as the previous speaker is, but we're using sequence-to-sequence models to clean up first the merchant name that we send to Google, and then the result that we get from Google to come up with the concept of brand. And this I'm actually going to show a demo of. So I showed with Edeka. Here, Google thinks Edeka is called Edeka Mosh, so I can take it out here. So it's called Edeka Mosh. And the problem is it still doesn't come up with the concept of brand that we have for Edeka. And so the little model that we trained, here we input the name. So let's check that Edeka is actually still one path through the model, still called Edeka. And this works. And then let's say it's called Edeka Mosh. It still works as well. And one could tell me, hey, but like a good regex could do the same job. And we just take the first word and it works, but it just doesn't generalize. So let's say you have Deutsche Bank. You want to have the two first words, right? And even more interesting, actually that's kind of not a problem, but like a question that's raised. Let's say we put Aldi Süd. So in Germany we have like two Aldis, Aldi Nord and Aldi Süd. And do you want it to be Aldi, like the brand, as in the customer only cares that it's Aldi, or Aldi Nord or Aldi Süd? And actually on the data that we trained, the algorithm decided it's Aldi. So it's actually a really robust way of extracting the information from the merchant name returned by Google to come up with the concept of brand. And the application of all of this is obviously to do fraud detection. So if we can locate a card transaction once in France, one in Germany within, I don't know, 10 minutes, we know that the card has been stolen or if there is something wrong with the card. We can, like I said, do some nice loyalty programs, and we can also do more nice-to-have features such as trip reports, basically. So how much have you spent in Rome in the past weekend? Yeah, that's it. So if you have any questions regarding, I don't know, N26 or the current projects we're working on, I'm happy to answer them. No questions? Yeah.
Every time I use your app,
Yeah.
I see that I can add, I can correct the category of a merchant or add tags. Is this information used in your data sets, or do you validate them?
So basically, we're now relearning all the models that we currently have. We're also working on a better feedback loop, because basically for Android, we sometimes challenge you to know if the categorization is right or wrong. But on iOS, we don't even ask the customer, basically. So people are not really incentivized to give us a feedback loop, but it's definitely in the pipelines to just basically grow a better data set. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi. First of all, thank you for a great product. I'm a loyal customer, and you have a really nice feature about showing statistics, how much I spent for what in months or in year.
Yeah.
And speaking about transaction enrichment, I'm looking into idea of even show me what how much I paid for a certain specific group of items, being in Aldi or wherever. I understand that you're not getting this data from MasterCard, but for example, if I can make a photo of my bill so that you can split every item and say how much I paid for fruits, for eggs, milk, or whatever.
Yeah. And so what's the question?
Are you looking into this kind of idea to build even more data about not just where I spent money, but what I bought? Because I can spend quite a variety of items in supermarkets, and if you say me, okay, I spent that amount of money in Reva, it doesn't say what actually I bought.
Yeah, okay. So actually that's a very good question. The problem is, being in Germany, people care a lot about their data privacy, and some people are actually scared that their banks knows too much about how they spend their money, basically. So that's definitely not a priority for us right now, to be honest. But yeah, if we can get better insights, on a scale that's not, I'm going to say creepy for the customers, it's better. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hello? Why we cannot ask all those? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Why we cannot ask all those companies like Ray Deka to provide you, or in exchange for free advertising space, provide you with the location and the terminal number?
Well,
actually, you need the terminal number, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. So
ask me as a client to take a picture of the terminal number, and then you know the address.
Well, the thing is, I wish it were that simple. The problem is basically the data that we get from MasterCard is quite ugly / very ugly, and so we need to pre-process it in ourselves. And even if we bought better data from MasterCard, it's still sometimes inconsistent. And also you have a problem that different merchants or different stores are all called Lidl Vertriebs GmbH. And then you don't really know which Lidl you're at, basically. And so this is why we have to go all the way to a terminal and collect as much data as we can through geolocation data that we already collect, and aggregate it together to build this thing on our own, basically.
Maybe work with Visa.
That's not my decision to make.
All right, one last question.
Hi, I'm wondering if N26 is going to do something with cryptocurrencies.
Well, that's definitely not like I wouldn't be the one to answer that question. I think I'm guessing you're referring to what Revolut is doing, right? Yeah, I think it's like a niche market, to be honest, for now, and I don't think that's our priority, to be honest. But I wouldn't be the one making that decision either. Sorry to disappoint.
Good.